Welcome, dear families, to the Prince of Peace Integrated School Homeschool Orientation. So, we're really excited to have you with us to embark on this journey of homeschooling. And we know that this is going to be an exciting journey for all of you. And so, let's begin. Prince of Peace Integrated School is on its 20th year of operation. It's a Christian private school located in Silawis Extension, Barangay San Luis, Antipolo City. It's recognized by the Department of Education to operate nursery, kinder and prep, grade school, and junior high school. And it has a permit to operate senior high school. PPIS also has a homeschool permit with permit number HSP 06-004 series of 2024. Furthermore, PPIS is an ESE certified school, which means that it has complied with the DepEd standards and requirements prescribed by the PAYAC or the National Secretariat ESE Certification Unit. Our school's vision is to be a Christ-centered community where knowledge is pursued with excellence, where faith is rooted in Christ, and where students are nurtured to become globally innovative individuals and responsible citizens. Our mission is to provide quality, basic, and Christ-centered education at an affordable cost, a loving and safe and conducive environment, innovative learning modalities that hone academic excellence, and social development programs that foster partnership with the stakeholders. At the heart of PPIS, we have a beacon guiding us. It is our PPIS philosophy called SHINE. So allow me to break it down. S is for spiritual growth. So our roots are embedded in Christian teachings. Here, the Bible isn't just a book, it's a foundation of our learning journey. H is for holistic education. We see the bigger picture. Education isn't just about the mind, but also about the heart and the soul. Our approach, hands-on, heads-on, and hearts-on, ensures that your child grows in every dimension: cognitive, emotional, social, and physical. I is for innovative learning, and in this fast-paced world, adaptation and critical thinking are key. We mold our students to be forward thinkers, innovators, who approach challenges with creativity and resilience. N is for nurturing environment. Our school has a haven or a space filled with encouragement, curiosity, and a profound love for learning. E is for engaged community. We're not an island, and our strength lies in unity and the collaboration between the parents, guardians, and the broader community. In essence, here at Prince of Peace Integrated School, we're not just teaching, we're lighting the path for your child to truly shine. Our core values in PPIS are based on the teachings of Jesus Christ. Anchored in the fruits of the Spirit and aligned with the Department of Education values, makadiyos, makatao, makakalikasan, and makabansa, our main value is love, which is the foundation for all the other virtues that we teach. So as you can see in the illustration, the values are rooted in God's love. And this is how everything branches out. All the other values stem from the love of God. Let's now dive into the term that might be familiar but often misunderstood: homeschooling. At its core, homeschooling is about parents taking the reins and steering their child's educational journey. And thankfully, we have a lot of people who are guiding and helping us in this endeavor because, as we have mentioned, we're not an island in this journey. We are members of organizations such as CAPSA and HAPPY here in the Philippines, as well as globally. We are the first Global Innovation Field Trip certified school, as well as a member of Invent Future Global. Our homeschool partners in this journey are Gopala Learning Haven, Better Together Homeschool International, Arrows and Quivers Homeschool, and Charlotte Mason Authentique. We are also blessed to have our family consultants from Wonderfully Made Kids Homeschool and Homeschooling by Grace. So while the journey begins at home, it's not confined within its walls. With PPIS, your child becomes a part of a vast network, and we're proud members of these esteemed educational bodies, both locally and internationally. This means we have an access to a lot of resources, support, and collaborative opportunities. So with us, homeschooling truly goes beyond the home, it goes global. Homeschooling for Joy. This is the heartbeat of the Prince of Peace Integrated School Homeschool Program. And let's break down what this stands for. F is for flexibility. We embrace individuality, and by adhering to core guidelines, we also pivot to the unique rhythm and interest and circumstances of each family. It's about finding what works best for you. O stands for opportunity. The world becomes your classroom. Our homeschooling program is your passport to deep dive into passions and fortify your family bonds to experience a rich tapestry of global learning. Remember, it's not solitary, so with our partners, both local and international, collaborative experiences are just around the corner. R is for responsibility. Parents are at the helm, guiding their children through life's vast sea of knowledge. This process nurtures self reliant learners who recognize the power and potential in shaping a better world. J, at the heart, of course, is Jesus. In this nurturing environment, every lesson, every experience can be a beacon pointing back to Him. Our commitment is to interweave a Christian worldview into every strand of learning. O denotes others. Our homeschooling philosophy extends beyond the textbooks, fostering a spirit of service. We encourage our students to look beyond themselves to their family, their community, and even the wider world, cultivating compassionate global citizens. And lastly, why is for you? Every family has its unique melody, and homeschooling lets it shine through. So, and we're here cheering you every step of the way. So embark with us on this enlightening path where education is not about the grades, but truly about a journey for joy. Crafting your homeschool vision. One of the first important steps in homeschooling is understanding your own unique why. What is your reason for choosing this path? Crafting this vision involves identifying your own values and beliefs, setting your long term goals, and understanding your child's unique needs and passions. This is very important, especially when you find yourself in challenging circumstances, because this will help you continue your journey and push on. So, what are your main reasons for homeschooling? Is it family bonding, tailored learning, your own values and faith formation that you believe you as a parent should be in charge of? Or it could be safety and well being, such as avoiding bullying in school. It could also be financial considerations, but remember, homeschooling can be as expensive or as affordable as you choose it to be. So, how can we do this? One way is crafting your own vision statement, such as the example that you see here. Another way is to make it more visual using a vision board. Whatever works for you, we encourage you to make this one of your starting points in your homeschooling journey every year. Realigning your values, setting your goals that will matter to you in the long run. That is basically what you're trying to do when you do this exercise. Homeschool myths. So there are many homeschool myths that we encounter in our journey, and let's tackle them one by one. Myth number one, homeschooling under the DepEd program means strictly following only the Philippine K-12 curriculum. So this is not actually true. The core of our teaching should focus on what are the topics and competencies that are expected based on the DepEd curriculum, such as the Matatag curriculum. However, we are free to modify it and enhance it based on what is more relevant to our students. We can be flexible in the materials, approach, scheduling, and overall delivery of the learning activities. We just have to align ourselves to what is expected so that we won't be going too far from the DepEd curriculum. Myth number two, homeschoolers lack socialization. So this is definitely not true. Homeschooling socialization can come from different places, and it's about it being intentional in finding those places, groups, and collaborative opportunities where our own child can thrive. And this could be either through sports or arts and music, or even co-op classes. Myth number three, homeschoolers don't get real world experiences. So this again is not true. Homeschoolers often get together because we are always wanting to find meaningful and purposeful activities for our children. So there are various opportunities where homeschoolers can volunteer and collaborate, even go through internships locally and globally. Key concepts to ground your journey. So we want to make sure that these are things that we are able to integrate in our homeschooling experience. First of all, it's faith-based, child-centered. We are focusing on the relationship of the family. We integrate the lessons so that they are more meaningful. And we also want to develop and enhance global citizenship. Faith-based values education. This means that we do our best to integrate Bible-based values into our lessons, whatever subject it may be, but especially in the GMRC subject that is now going to be taught under the Matatag curriculum. We also have CLE or Christian Learning Education to help our students learn more about the Bible teachings and integrate it into their daily lives. Child-centered education. So as you can see here, we have had several opportunities to do child-centered activities. This means finding what they want to do and helping them use that learning into something more meaningful and tangible. For example, since our family loves animals, especially dogs and cats, we were involved in many fundraising activities for rescue dogs here in Saudi Arabia. Our talents and abilities were used to help the creatures by encouraging our children to create things that they could sell in order to raise funds for the rescue dogs in Open Post Jeddah. Another example is because our children are all into Minecraft, we were able to connect to a teen Minecraft ambassador named Namya Joshi. We were able to interview her and learn a lot from her. One of our children also used his creative abilities to be able to write a book through a lesson online from upschool.co. One of our children also was into Rubik's Cubes. And so speed cubing, though it's not something that everybody can understand or appreciate, we were able to support him to send him to a cubing competition. And it was really about supporting their individual interests and passions. Chores. So it's really important for children to learn from a young age that for a family and household to run smoothly, everyone needs to help out. And there's actually a study, a Harvard grant study, that at 75 years long is the longest longitudinal study ever that looked at a variety of factors that contribute to a person's happiness as they age. The research found that not only were people who did chores as children happier later in life, but they were also better employees and had more successful careers. Benefits of integrating lessons and learning activities. So it gives them holistic understanding. Integrating subjects offers a broader perspective, showing students how knowledge areas intersect and enrich one another. It also gives enhanced engagement. Merging topics like art with history can make lessons more captivating. Actually, when it comes to doing the Matatag curriculum, a lot of it also talks about this, integrating topics and lessons, because this also allows for more real-world relevance. It allows for us to see that one subject is not restrictive to just that topic and that application. Instead, it prepares students for multifaceted real-world problem solving. Aside from that, it also covers multiple subjects simultaneously, providing efficient use of time. And it also allows and helps increase retention because you're making connections across subjects, and it can prove how our brains favor the patterns and associations, making these lessons stick to their children all the more. In essence, integrated learning offers a more engaging and relevant and efficient educational experience, better preparing students for real-world challenges and fostering deeper comprehension. So as you can see here, what we have are examples of integrating lessons for Buwanang Wika. We have a creation story of the Philippines wherein each of the days of creation, we integrated it and turned it into a story about how God made the Philippines. For example, when God made land, he put them in three major islands called Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. And in that land, he allowed for different land formations and water formations, aside from putting in the trees and the plants that thrive. So in the Philippines, the land formations that you study in social studies, right? The different beautiful places that are also landmarks in the Philippines can be studied in this lesson, as well as native trees and the Philippine national leaf or fruit, things like that can also be studied as well. Another thing that we did for Buenang Wika was to make colored pasta. And there was a lot of leftover colored water. So aside from recreating indigenous jewelry using the colored pasta, we used that to paint vintas, global citizenship, or world learning. So world learning experiences are transformative and they immerse learners in diverse cultures, fostering cultural sensitivity and adaptability. Beyond broadening horizons, they challenge biases, enhancing emotional intelligence. These experiences also offer hands on insights, making academic concepts tangible. Ultimately, world learning molds globally aware individuals primed for a connected society. And we all know that we are in a society that is very much interconnected nowadays. And you can't just ignore what's happening around the world. So we have different ways we can connect with our partners and friends from the global community, such as the International Kids Conference, the Global Innovation Field Trip, the innovation challenges, such as the Global Innovation Challenge, and the International Creativity and Innovation Award, as well as other opportunities that rise up every time we have new connections and enlarge our network of partners. Now for the DepEd program specifics. What are you going to expect and how to do this homeschooling with us? Number one, for our homeschooling starter pack, we have digital materials that you will be able to access through Microsoft Teams, and your login and passwords will be sent to you via email. From there, you will be able to go and get your academic calendar, academic guide, and the learning resource materials, which are like workbooks for your children to use. You will also have access to PowerPoint lessons and sample learning plans. Remember that we are providing the DepEd aligned materials that are for your major subjects. For your minor subjects, you are free to use whatever material is best. Just use the academic guide as a way to find out which topics you should be discussing at each quarter. We will also be providing monthly and quarterly exams, and your package of Microsoft Office 365 Education allows for you to use online Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, and Microsoft Teams. Other resources that you can use would be, of course, downloadable materials from the Department of Education, access to Starbooks. You could also go through Teach Philippines at Gabay Guro for other resources. And for international sources, of course, Khan Academy is one of the best. There's world's largest lesson for learning about the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. For coding, we have code.org and Scratch. And for other academic resources, you have CK-12 for free resources. For interactive and visually appealing resources, you have PBS Kids and National Geographic Kids. And for lessons, you can also go to Upschool and, of course, DepEd. How do you plan your homeschool schedule? So these are 5 reminders when you are planning your homeschool schedule. Number 1, flexibility and faith. You have to trust in God's timing and remember that in homeschooling, you are to be adaptable. You cannot box your student into one specific schedule and expect it to work all the time. True, having a routine is also very important and can be very helpful, but you would have to really assess your own child because even in your own household, if you have more than one child, one type of scheduling may work for one kid, but not for the other. You also have to take into account their individual learning pace. Having a schedule that allows for them to see what they need to accomplish on a weekly basis might be a better idea rather than doing it daily. But again, this is different from each child, so you have to see what works for your child. Scheduled breaks are also important to note down. so that the child is able to have a brain break and see how he can maximize his time, but not overdo it. Include real world learning as best as you can so that the lessons are more meaningful for your child. And having a consistent routine, as I said, is not always possible, but it's a good idea for your children to be able to establish good study habits. So a sample daily schedule could be similar to what you have in regular school, such as this, wherein every single day you have different sets of subjects that are given an allotment of less than an hour per subject. But often this is not going to be the case for homeschooling because when you are doing learning one-on-one, it can be much faster that you finish the topic within, let's say, 10 minutes instead of 30 or 40 minutes. Another type of schedule is block scheduling, wherein you have certain blocks of time, such as morning, afternoon, and evening, instead of counting the minutes of each subject. Another sample, one major subject a day schedule. So this can sometimes work, especially for younger kids, for them to have continuity in what they're learning. For example, a science topic can be discussed, and then you go on to do the experiment and even to the application of that particular topic. And that could be covering your whole day or maybe half your day instead of cutting it into different portions and spreading it out throughout the week. Another opportunity for you to do this is, for example, in learning about history. So you start with a topic and then watch a movie and then talk about it. So that could take several hours of your day, and you've pretty much covered maybe 1 or 2 weeks worth of lessons within that span of time. The grading system will be based on the DepEd guidelines, and we will be sending you the Excel sheets for this. Remember that when you're grading your child, don't be too hard on yourself or don't be too anxious on how you grade your children. The grades are there for records purposes, and we trust in your faithfulness and your honesty in how you're assessing your child. The numerical equivalents that you will be able to put there will be based on scores, but at the same time, you are the one who knows how your child is learning. So you will be able to gauge if he is able to improve. A score of 10 over 10 does not always reflect that the child learned something. Because if it's a topic that he already knew by heart way before he took the exam, then getting that score did not indicate that he learned something new or that he actually learned something from you during that period of time. So a better indicator could be having him create a project related to that topic, or having him write an essay, or maybe even make a presentation to teach that particular topic. So what you have here are just the DepEd required examples. But as you know, in homeschooling, there's a lot of integration that's happening. So for example, when you bake cookies, you're going to tackle math and science. And for example, in here, you could be tackling measurements and weighing scales, understanding fractions, multiplication and division, such as when you're doubling or halving a recipe. And you could even tackle geometry, such as the shape of the cookies and calculating the area that is needed in order to fit how many cookies in what tray. Now, for science, of course, you could talk about how the ingredients interact, especially with baking soda and baking powder. And then you have physics, the heat and energy transfer that happens, and biology, like fermentation using yeast. Through baking cookies, you could also integrate home economics or TLE because you can do cost analysis, teach them about entrepreneurship, learning how to sell and manage their profits, food presentation, such as designing your packaging for your cookies, and of course, nutrition, like how can you make these cookies healthier, or finding out the nutritional value of those ingredients. Next, you could also be tackling English and literature, because you could have them write a story behind the cookie. You could help them advertise the cookies by creating catchy slogans or jingles. You could also help them in their communication skills by sharing the experience that they went through via a presentation or a video. Now we have supplemental classes or programs from our partners, and we will be sending you more information about them if you're interested. That concludes our homeschool orientations. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope that you will have a fruitful and meaningful homeschool learning experience and journey with us this school year. Have a great day. God bless you all.